Donald Trump is desperate for a Nobel Peace Prize, so our war criminal president decided the best way to make that happen was invite another war criminal to the White House. And so today, he held a joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in which they laid out a peace plan to end the war in Gaza, the genocide that Israel is carrying out. And it was anything but a peace plan. But it was so fantastic, so incredible that Donald Trump wanted to talk all about it, including questions from he didn't actually take questions from reporters. He was rushed away after a tired, sleepy meltdown of a speech that we're going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video. And if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into the moment that Donald Trump was just rushed out of his awful speech, I want to start with where he began, complaining about a teleprompter.
Agency in United Nations was interesting because, as you know, a few days ago they introduced me, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. I'm looking at my teleprompter and the thing was dead, stone cold, dead. The thing's up here. I have a long, beautiful speech to make. I'm back 30 feet back and I'm saying, they're introducing me. There's nothing on my teleprompter. So, but I made a speech. I actually got good marks. You think Biden could have done that? I don't think so. I don't think he could have done that. I don't think too many people could have done it. But actually, it was actually more of a speech from my heart, if you want to know the truth. I think it was maybe better in certain ways because it was from the heart. It has to be from the heart. Otherwise, you're in big trouble.
How many times a day, an hour a week, does Donald Trump have to embarrass us on the world stage? He just continues to show that all of the political calculation he makes, which is very few and far between, is all about himself and his personal grievance and his own complaints. And there is a lot of complaining and a lot of misunderstanding, as we saw from Trump today, as he talked with Netanyahu about their plan, if you can even call it that. The way Trump described it was incredibly weird.
Things that have been going on for hundreds of years and thousands of years. We're going to, at least we're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close. And I want to thank Bibi for really getting in there and doing a job.
Yeah, Netanyahu has certainly done a job if doing a job means committing a genocide, which is exactly what Israel has done and continues to do and plans to do in the future. This is not a peace deal. This is about ethnic cleansing and moving the Palestinian people out of their land so Donald Trump and Jared Kushner can build hotels and beach resorts. That is what it is about, and it's why we have to use this moment to display what every Democrat in our party should have, which is moral clarity in calling it out. And before we see how the press conference ended, I want to hear from Bernie Sanders, who spoke exactly on that moral clarity.
Right now, as we speak, Joe, children are starving to death because of Israel's blockades.
Yeah.
Starving to death. And I brought forth two resolutions, which basically were very simple, and they said no more U.S. military aid to Israel under these conditions. One vote got 15 votes in the Senate, the other one got 16. Do you think that members of the Senate do not know what's going on in Gaza? The kids are starving to death. The innocent people are being shot down right and left. They know it. Why do you think I couldn't get more votes?
They wouldn't vote against Israel.
Right.
It's political suicide.
Now you're talking.
Right.
All right. So in the Republican side, you have moneyed interests saying you speak up against Trump, you're out of here. In the Democratic side, you speak up against the Netanyahu government, you're out of here as well. And they have been successful. You have super PACs like AIPAC, spending a fortune. You stand, and they have already knocked off a number of members of Congress, good members of Congress, and they will do it again. So all I'm saying is you got a corrupt campaign finance system on both sides, which is rejecting the will of the American people and end up supporting powerful special interests. And if we do not get a handle on that issue, I worry very much about the future of American democracy.
AIPAC is a foreign lobby for a fascist regime that should not be giving money to Democrats. Full stop. It should not be happening. No Democrat should be accepting AIPAC money. We shouldn't accept corporate money, nonetheless, money from a government that wants to control our foreign policy to commit a genocide against the people, and that does not work in our interest. We should not be beholden to that lobby, which is one of the many reasons why Donald Trump didn't feel comfortable enough answering questions about his new announcement, other than the fact that he's stupid. So his press conference ended this way.
I think while we wait for these documents to be signed and get everybody in line, I think it maybe is not really appropriate to take questions. I'm meeting with, as you know, a couple of Democrats in a little while about the country, but
yes. When you feel really great about an announcement, when a plan is going so well, when you're just so excited to talk about your agenda, you wrap up early and you say, sorry guys, they're going to make me get out of here. Sorry, my staff is telling me we have to leave. We got to rush out. I don't want to take questions from reporters. What would those questions even look like? Does Donald Trump know how to answer a question about Middle East politics besides going, I think I've ended so many wars. It's up to, quite frankly, it's up to 11 wars now. And we love war or ending it. I don't know. What do you want me to say? And like, that's pretty much it. And then Trump, talks about how much gold he's going to put in his new Trump, I don't know what statue he says he wants in the Holy Land. A ton of respect there. Donald Trump wanting to build a statue of himself. I don't know how we could get any closer to him being the Antichrist than that, but there you go, Donald. This is what it's about. It is always about what? You know the word and you're typing it in the comments, the grift. Nailed it. That is what it is. Donald Trump has found another opportunity to grift, and it's doing so off the back of a genocide. That is what is happening. And really, truly, if a Democrat is unable to say that, I don't think that you are a Democrat. I don't think that you should be a part of our party. If you're not at least willing to condemn the actions of the Netanyahu regime, of this murderous government, I just don't think that you have the moral clarity to stand up to anyone. Because if you can't stand up to AIPAC, if you can't stand up to these interests, will you stand up for us when it comes to fighting for affordability? Will you stand up to Donald Trump? All we see out of our party that has the brand so in the shitter right now is weakness. Someone like Bernie Sanders isn't weak. Someone like AOC isn't weak. Someone like Jasmine Crockett isn't weak. That's why these people are popular. But when Chuck Schumer is saying that he's banking on Republicans to be responsible to get us out of this looming government shutdown and actually fund healthcare for people in America and not to allow Donald Trump to walk all over them, I don't really see that as a sign of strength. Why are we believing anything that Republicans are telling us? Why are we trusting in them? We should be doing the opposite. We should be hitting harder. We should be pointing out their lies. Banking on Republicans has never worked for us. It's not going to now, especially in a moment of literal crisis in this government. So it's time for us to stop being so chicken shit. It's time for us to stop being really Trump's bitch, if you look at Chuck Schumer. I know he's going to write a strongly worded letter after this video goes out, but seriously, man, step up. Have some chutzpah, have some cojones, and do something. Let the government shut down. What, you're afraid that Donald Trump's going to fire people more than he has already? I share that same concern. But Donald Trump has made it pretty clear that he will do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, so do not bend to him. When you give the bully your lunch money, he only comes back hungrier. We have to stop, and we have to put up a fight. And Democrats have to frame themselves, and not frame like this is a messaging construct, but just do the damn thing. Stand up to the Israel lobby. Say, no, we're not voting for genocide anymore. We will not be owned. We cannot be a party that is complicit and that is owned. And Bernie Sanders made that very clear right here.
But in the last 21 months, Israel has not just gone to war against Hamas. It has gone to war against the entire Palestinian population in ways that are not only immoral, but in clear violation of international and U.S. law. In a territory of just over 2 million inhabitants, 60,000 people in Gaza have been killed and over 140,000 wounded since the beginning of this war. Some 60% of that total are women, children, and the elderly, including 14,000 kids. Incredibly, almost 10% of the population of Gaza has been killed or wounded. Further, the physical infrastructure of Gaza has been basically destroyed. More than 90% of the housing has been made uninhabitable. Water systems and wastewater plants are inoperable. Hundreds of schools have been bombed, the healthcare system almost completely wiped out, and there is no electricity. Many of the people in Gaza have been displaced time and time and time again, forced to move from one location to another with nothing more than the clothes on their backs. All of this amounts to one of the worst man-made humanitarian disasters in modern history. But if you can believe it, it gets even worse. This spring, for 11 weeks, Israel blocked all humanitarian aid from getting into Gaza. No food, no water, no medicine. Since then, in the last 2 months, due to international pressure, Israel has allowed a trickle of aid in, but nowhere near what is required. The result of these inhumane policies is that the people of Gaza are now experiencing mass malnutrition, and dozens of children have actually starved to death. The United States government in recent years has provided tens of billions in military aid to the Netanyahu government. In other words, our tax dollars and our weapons are actively supporting these atrocities. That cannot be allowed to continue. And I don't care if you are a Democrat, if you're a Republican, or you're an independent. I don't care if you're a conservative, a progressive, or a moderate. The American people do not want our tax dollars being used to starve children in Gaza.
I don't know about y'all, but I do not want a Democratic Party that is beholden to anything except for democratic values. And we need to have a universality in our approach. Zohran Mamdani talks about this all the time. If we are going to be the party that fights corruption, we also can't have Senate candidates like Alyssa Slotkin, who took $10 million from the crypto lobby and then voted for Donald Trump's Genius Act crypto bill, which allows him to profit off the explosion of the unregulated crypto industry. Crypto spent more than any other corporate entity, any other sector in the last election. Crypto did, the crypto lobby. Why? Because they stand to gain the most from an unchecked and unregulated system that Donald Trump is allowing. Why? Well, one, because he's bought off, and two, because it's good for his grift. So if we want to be anti-corruption, that has to be universal. It has to be in fighting back against big tech. It has to be in fighting back against censorship. It has to be in fighting back against the crypto lobby. All of those things. It has to be a universal approach. We are going to be talking about that on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Please, if you want to support the show in another way, it's a great way to support the show. Please go and click right here or down below to subscribe to my Substack. We're having a lot of fun over there. It's a good time. Sometimes we make jokes at Carolyn Levitt's expense like we do on this show, so go check it out. But keep on fighting. Don't let him silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.